Coach.
Mild-mannered Dan Brunner right there, just taking a little water. Is that water in there, Danny? Okay. Terry assessing the situation. I would call them the carrot and the stick. Terry would be the carrot, Mr. Brunner would be the stick. Although we saw Terry get a little upset there and get a tee in the third quarter. They're trying to get his team going a little bit. They've just really been stagnated here in the third quarter. They've scored just 3 points in 6 minutes. They're on that 24 for quite a while.
Jozbakowski back in the lineup now for New Berlin Eisenhower as Steve Gustafson keeps his guard troops fresh. Now we've got an offensive foul called against New Berlin Eisenhower. Away from the basketball. Looked like he called it on
Paul Sorensen, number 41. I'm going to have a bonus mistake there to get St. Francis back in the game. Paul was trying to establish position going back towards the ball, which you must try to do, but he ran over a defender there, I think Eric Cooley, and Eric will have a chance for the bonus there. St. Francis huddling there, you see at the free throw line. They're going to make a shift there. I wouldn't be surprised to see him press Eisenhower if Cooley can make the basket here, or one of the 2 free throws at least.
Cooley without a point in tonight's ball game. He's a 6'1" senior.
Oh, he's a lefty. He's got a good shot at this one.
And he missed everything. Well, sometimes the lefties make it, sometimes they don't.
Oh, and line violation. Here's a break. Well, we haven't seen that tonight. It's the first.
Well, let's see if he overcompensates
call, Jim.
now. That's right, boy.
Oh, you forget that Muskego-McQuantico game last week? That was something else. An extra shot after time had run out because someone in a lane violation. Muskego 44, McQuantico 43.
I still say that's one of the strangest endings I've ever seen to a basketball game. Cooley, a little bit better, a little closer on the second shot, but still they rack up no points. This is Johnson on the left wing.
I got to get your knees in that, Eric. Use those knees to get that ball up there.
Pass batted up in the air by McGrory, and McGrory comes down with it. Here comes St. Francis.
Hey, don't get sloppy with Scott McGrory. He's just too aggressive.
2:08 left to play in the third quarter. By 9, New Berlin Eisenhower. Jost tries to start down the lane. Jozbakowski bats it away, and New Berlin has it again. And this is Misevich pretending he's a guard again.
Oh, he's too big to be a guard. I don't care if it's college or not. There he
is on the baseline. That's where those big guys belong. And he hits a turnaround shot from the baseline, and he gets fouled besides.
Well, he's so big and strong. Just take a look at him here as he bends over. You're not winded, Greg. Come on. And here it is right now. There's the post. That's a good position. Just too strong right in there. And he'd be tough. I think they got to get that ball to him in that position more often.
McGrory and Jost coming out of the lineup now. Coming in to replace them, Jay Saskowski for 1, and we'll catch the number on the other
Bob
one.
Hernkar, 42.
Bob Hernkar back in. He played a little at the end of the first half. As Greg Misevich completes the 3-point play, he has 9 points in the game and a 12-point lead.
There you go. That's how you got to break it. You got to take advantage. Take it to the basket. Attaboy, Johnny.
John Quirk hits not exactly a pure jump shot, but a nice break of the press that time, and they convert.
Now, that's what I call you have to do. Okay, Eisenhower on a break this time. Look out. Oh, they wipe out the basket. Cooley with a nice job there. I didn't think he could try to take the charge, and I think they'll wipe out the basket. Yes, indeed.
Offensive foul.
Well, you didn't commit it, Paul, so, but they're not going to give you the basket. Well, they can't give him...
There you see Hine running over the player. Eric Cooley had set up right in the middle. Carl Hine picks up his second personal foul.
No basket.
And going to the free throw line will be St. Francis.
Well, it could be a nice 4-point turnaround there to help St. Francis get back into it. And they're resting McGurry and Jost now to make a run in the fourth quarter.
Officials coming over to discuss it. There is some question as to whether there will be a free throw attempt following that foul. Dale Borchert and Darrell Kaufman consulting. They're still talking it over right now, and it looks like Eric Cooley will go to the free throw line.
Well, the men in the zebra shirts discussing it there, talking it over.
Eric, I guess you'd say officially 0 for 1 from the free throw line. He had 2 misses, but one was wiped out on a line violation.
Bend your knees now, Eric, just like I told you. Attaboy, now stay down.
Okay. That time he was right in the middle.
Oh, sure, he was listening to me.
Well, he's gotten closer every time. Missed everything the first time.
Well, you got to get it
front
up.
End.
You got to get it up. Get the ball up there. They'll arch on it. Can't flatten it out.
And the Luigi School of Free Throw Shooting is another successful student.
1-2-2 zones press.
8-point lead for New Berlin. They come down 3-on-1. Pass comes out to Hine. He nearly travels with it, but he puts it in.
Jozbakowski got the ball to him low, but he hung in there well.
Saskowski. Pass too long for Quirk. Misevich coming down all the way like a big locomotive, and he's called for the offensive foul. And he called for the technical foul besides. Boy, Masevich just simply was not
going to get another one. He's got 2 of them. He's out of the game.
Technical fouls. He's just been thrown out of the ball game. Greg Masevich losing his cool a little bit.
Well, let's see. I don't know if you have a chance to catch it here. He was bull on a rush there, rumbling down. Okay, we're going to get a chance to bring this up. There's Greg. I don't know. Is 2 in a row automatic ejection here? You got to get 3, I think, to get ejected. Here comes Greg on the drive now. Here he comes. Let's see, Saskowski. Yeah, I think so. Saskowski even put his arms together, the wide receiver there, and Big Greg piling in.
A little bit out of control that time, but he just simply was not going to be stopped as he came all the way in.
Yeah, you're kicking him out of the game.
Referee telling him he's done.
Telling him to take a walk.
So an early exit for Greg Masevich, and he is burning. Masevich, that was his 3rd personal foul, but he argued just a little bit too strenuously.
Well, we'll see what's going to happen now. We're going to get the bonus, and we'll get 2 technicals, although against the player, that'll only be 1 shot each for each of the technicals rather than a coach, which is 2. The second technical is automatic ejection then.
All right, we've had 3 technical fouls called here in the 3rd quarter. St. Francis coach Terry Benka drew a technical with 6:05 left in it. That was a 2-shot technical, being on the bench. This will be 2 1-shot technicals, and John Kloppenberg, who's 4 out of 4 from the free throw line already tonight, will be shooting them.
Well, he's the right man to go to the free throw line tonight, certainly.
Shooting the technical for St. Francis, number 30, John Kloppenberg.
Kloppenberg 8 for 14 on the year.
They're calling no shot on the offensive foul.
So it'll just
be the 2 technicals, and then St. Francis will take possession of the basketball. Still a chance to cut into the lead by 4.
There's still plenty of time left. They can knock it down to about 6 at the 3rd quarter. That's what St. Francis would like.
Free throw good by Kloppenberg. He's perfect from the line tonight. There you see the score, 9-point lead for New Berlin Eisenhower. The Lions just can't shake the pesky Mariners tonight. Kloppenberg can only hit 1 of the technicals, and now St. Francis will take possession of the basketball with a chance to cut even further into the lead. 1:11 left in the 3rd quarter. Kloppenberg will inbound.
And Eisenhower going to drop back in the zone now with that foul trouble. Good move by Steve Gustafson, kind of slow up the pace a little bit, and they got to settle down the next minute here after losing Big Greg Masevich.
Hine, Sorensen, and Ross Krieger on the front line for New Berlin. Now that Masevich is out of the game and a traveling violation, St. Francis turns it over.
Yeah, St. Francis with a chance really to get back in it there. They're going to stay in that pressure 1-2-2 zone press here. Double on the ball right away.
They're doubling up. Coming around, John Kloppenberg is Ross Krieger, and Kloppenberg will be called for the personal foul. His first, team's 5th. That puts New Berlin on the line for the 1+1.
And John Kloppenberg showing restraint there. They're not saying anything to our officials tonight, or you will pick one up. Here it is right now. We're going to see there's a double team. Kloppenberg's got to take away the baseline because Quirk takes away the middle. He's got to take that baseline more, and he gets it with the body.
Ross Krieger with 11 points in the first half. He has not scored here in the second half thus far. And that time he looks like a good free throw shooter. The leading rebounder on the New Berlin Eisenhower team.
Oh, he's 18 for 32 from the free throw line, a little over 50, and shooting 46% from the field.
He cans 2 out of 2. He's got 13. The lead is 11. 53 seconds left to play, 3rd quarter. John Quirk bringing it up now. The pressure drops back. Eisenhower plays the zone. 1-2-2 zone. Kloppenberg to Quirk. Jump shot, free throw line. No. Rebound pulled down by Paul Sorensen. Eisenhower on the fly. Jazwikowski all the way down. Shot short. Foul called. That may be number 4 on Eric Kuliu.
Jazwikowski doing a nice job there. You know, Eisenhower, normally you can run a little bit better in a zone defense, I think, most high schools. And, of course, then you got your big man underneath and just get it out to your outlets, get it to your guards, and this is what Eisenhower wants to do. Jazwikowski all the way. Kloppenberg should try to step up in there a little bit and not let him go all the way to the basket.
That was the 4th personal foul on Eric Kuliu. Jazwikowski hits the first.
Well, I think St. Francis wanted to rest Scott McCurry, but things get a little bit out of hand here. And, of course, Kuliu with 4, so Scott's going to come back in.
Jim Jazwikowski started the last 2 ball games for New Berlin Eisenhower. Dennis Anderson missed a little time, death in the family. He's back tonight, but still not quite ready to step back into his old starting spot. Jazwikowski 1 for 2 from the free throw line, and a foul away from the basketball.
Bob Hernkar, I think, with the offensive foul.
They're calling it on 42. That's Bob Hernkar.
I was trying to set a pick for Scott McCurry, who was coming back. McCurry was coming back for the ball, and St. Francis just unable to get some momentum, and really I think the momentum had turned her with the throwing out of Greg Vasevich, but unfortunately haven't been able to take advantage of it. And Krieger's probably the last man. He's had a good game. He's showing good touch from the free throw line.
St. Francis has had some close games this season. They last time we had them on RVS Cablevision, they were beaten by Pewaukee High School by a score of 64-63. Just recently, they lost by 3 points to Greenfield. And tonight, they really stuck with Eisenhower for the entire first half. Eisenhower has pulled away just a little bit, but there's still an entire fourth quarter of basketball left to play.
And St. Francis really needs a basket here. You don't really, double figures going to fourth quarter is going to make it tough.
Long cross-court pass, Saskowski. This is Quirk. They're playing for one shot now, 46-32 by 14, the Lions. There are 10 seconds left to play in the third. Coming down the baseline is Scott McGrory. Very aggressive move, and he's lucky he didn't get called for the foul. Now somebody's called on the pile. It's called on Jay Saskowski. Saskowski's body in that tangle somewhere.
Well, I took the shot a little bit too fast, though. McGrory, see, what you want to do is don't give him a shot. Scott going up, and a lot of bodies there. I guess Saskowski off our screen to left is the one who picked up the foul.
And back on the line is Jim Jozwikowski. He was just there a few minutes ago.
Well, he can make it 16 if he can put in 2, and that'll really make it tough on St. Francis coming into the fourth quarter.
Just 5 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Rebound by Ross Krieger. His shot just misses. Long outlet pass, and at the buzzer at the end of the third quarter. So the Lions starting to pull away to exert themselves here in the third quarter. The lead is 14. We'll be back with the final quarter of play right after this. There's a long shot of the court here at St. Francis High School. You see the stage right behind everybody, somewhere in that.
What time does it leave?
There's a stage leaving at 10. Be under it.
Oh, Jimmy. Well, I think the third quarter here really a disastrous one for St. Francis. They played so well. They really had a tough time. It was 27-24 in favor of Eisenhower at the end of the first half. St. Francis was stuck for over 2 minutes on 24. They never really got the offense on track. They scored about 8 points in this quarter, whereas Eisenhower with a good quarter with 19, and there's your 14-point difference. 46 for Eisenhower, 32 for St. Francis. Last quarter.
The third place team in the Parkland West, New Berlin Eisenhower at 6-4 against the last place team in the Parkland West, and St. Francis controls the tip.
And if you're wondering the difference between the Parkland West and Parkland East, it's really not geography, it's school size. St. Francis, I think the smallest school by quite a bit in the Eastern Conference. They only have 410. Eisenhower about 1,100, and most of the schools in the Eastern Division are bigger.
That's right. It certainly is a misnomer to call St. Francis an East school. I should say a Western school, a school in the Western Division. It's a steal that time by New Berlin. This is Johnson giving to Jozwikowski. St. Francis in the zone. Johnson had 7 points in the third quarter of the game. Jozwikowski.
Well, they can afford to be patient here.
Now Eisenhower just very content to look for that good shot. They get it in the middle to Krieger. Turn around, off the glass and good.
And that's to their advantage. If they can run off some time and then, of course, get an inside shot. And Mr. Krieger here, Ross Krieger, has had a nice game for Eisenhower.
17 points for Ross. Ball slapped away by New Berlin, but St. Francis recovers. John Quirk, he'll take the jump shot, and he won't hit it. Rebound recovered by McGrory, but he throws the ball away. Here comes Bob Kujowski leading the break. Nice pass to Jeff Johnson. St. Francis bench screaming for an offensive foul, but they won't get it. 15 points for Jeff Johnson, and a nice feed from Bob Kujowski.
And things going from bad to worse at St. Francis now. One more basket, and they're going to need another timeout to try to organize things. They're going to have to go to some kind of trap and forced action, maybe something like a 1-3-1 double team. Got to take some chances now.
Kujowski can't get to the pass. Now he recovers it. 18-point lead for New Berlin Eisenhower.
And just that sudden, because they can run.
Nice
There's a man who's going to stay in the
interception.
game all the time, Scott McGurry. He plays hard all the time.
Really working hard. Jay Saskowski bringing the ball up. He gives to Quirk. Coolyu back in the lineup now for St. Francis. This is Quirk.
I think they got to get Pat Jost back in the ball game too. They need as much offense as they can get in there. Maybe Rick Lockwood as well.
Saskowski's jumper won't go. Eisenhower with it. A couple of new guys getting set to come in. Rick Lockwood getting ready to return to the St. Francis lineup. As soon as they get a chance. 5:49 left to play in the ball game. 50-32. There's McGrory again. A similar steal last two times down the court.
All the time there in that corner. They just haven't got the ball all night to Bob Kujawski. And of course, you got to give that man a lot of credit. He has the ball right there. Scott McGurry. On the arm.
Fouled. He went up for the jumper. His man was a little bit too close. And McGrory will go to the free throw line. As the subs come in, John Kloppenberg and Rick Lockwood replacing Jay Saskowski, and John Quirk is going to get his first rest of the night.
Bob Kujawski at the foul. Of course, he couldn't believe it.
On the line for the Mariners, number 50, Scott McGurry.
McGrory, as we mentioned, an all-conference performer at tight end and linebacker for St. Francis High School's football team.
I think the last 2 years, as a matter of fact, he got all conference honors at linebacker. They played a lot of 6-1, and he was the man in the middle. And he did a dynamite job for Dan Brunner. I think, of course, John has done his job, the little point guard for St. Francis, John Quirk. They need a little more offense in there, and I think that's why their co-captains Lockwood and Kloppenberg need some outside shooting now.
Of course, now they're susceptible to any pressure, but Eisenhower may be beyond pressing at this point in the ball game.
Yeah, I don't think they have last few times. Another reason. Now Lockwood comes in and gets a
missed,
quick one.
Rick Lockwood fouling on the rebound. Ross Krieger will go to the free throw line. Lockwood's third personal foul. Talking about St. Francis and football and all those other things, tonight's game against New Berlin Eisenhower kind of breaks a streak as you see the foul. Rick Lockwood over the back of Krieger. There's Ross with 17 points on the night, but last few times we've seen St. Francis in any kind of sporting event, they've been playing Pewaukee High School.
Well, it's a natural course, of course, in the Parkland, because both the areas of RVS, Pewaukee and St. Francis, and they had some good struggles last year, both very close games. Of course, this year we mentioned that Pewaukee, St. Francis beat them twice last year. One was a one-point game. See, that Pewaukee team has really come around. They're 5-5 now. They won one game all last year. Their new coach, Tim Reuter, doing a good job. They also picked up Dan Bailey, who transferred back from Marquette to Pewaukee. They played St. Francis last week. Dan Bailey only had 26 points and 19 rebounds.
19 is the lead right now for New Berlin Eisenhower. Ball knocked out of bounds. St. Francis will keep it. We're going to start seeing some subs, I think, very soon in this game for Steve Gustafson. He's got 17 players with him tonight.
Yes, we might see them all before this is over. And Pewaukee just thinking it might be a team to be reckoned with come sectional time in the conference, Jim.
Long jumper by Kloppenberg, doesn't hit anything. Standing there to pick it up is Paul Sorensen. Coming down quickly, Josh Wachowski. He finds Jeff Johnson, and Jeff Johnson finds the basket. We'll see if they give him the basket. Going to have a
here comes the team.
Offensive foul called and a technical foul called against Steve Gustafson, who jumped up as if he were launched from his seat on the bench.
No one's happy with the officiating. And I haven't even complained about the officiating tonight, have I? You see, these coaches get all excited about nothing. Look, he's up 20 points, and I'll tell you why he's upset. He's felt on a couple occasions that maybe a little acting by St. Francis and people falling down, and been quite a few charges in the game, but the refs have been pretty consistent with that, and I know the players have to adjust a little bit to that.
Okay, let's get you caught up here. The basket is good by Jeff Johnson. Jeff Johnson will be called for the offensive foul after the shot. That will send St. Francis to the line for the 1+1. And Coach Steve Gustafson, you see him there, has been whistled for the technical.
Party love note.
That's right. Leaving his calling card with the referees at 5:12 of the fourth quarter, Gustafson picks up a technical foul. Fourth technical foul of the night. Really an unusually high number.
Yeah, this is the leading game on RVS for technical fouls. Of course, one player even thrown out, Greg Masevich.
Put that one into the record book. We're going to get a look at that last play as Jeff Johnson went in for the basket. We'll call that up for you from the truck.
Let's see if John Klopp was a little acting. Well, no, Johnson did give him some contact there. Klopp, of course, all these kids been watching the pros, I guess, getting these Academy Awards, falling over all the time.
So going to the line is John Kloppenberg, who's been good from there tonight. 5 out of 6 for John. We have 5-12.
This will be the bonus first. Excuse me, Jim.
Oh, okay. We'll go to 1-on-1. And he misses the one-on-one. Now he'll get a shot at the technical. This should be a two-shot technical
Well,
foul
Randy
from the
Crone, I
bench.
think, is going to shoot this one, Jim. He's their leading free thrower on the year, 73%. He's 11 for 15. So let's see if Big Randy, the big man with the soft touch, see if he has it now. They'll get 2.
Randy with 2 points on the night, the leading scorer for St. Francis at 10-2. And he misses the first technical.
That kind of second half for St. Francis really been snake bit here. They had 24. They've only scored 9 points in a quarter and a third.
The big men for both teams having somewhat off nights. 9 points for Misevich. Randy Crone now with 3.
And a seat on the bench for Mr. Machevich, too. I tell you, if I was a referee, I'd think twice about throwing him out of the game.
Well, he sure threw his body around the time that he was in the lineup.
Greg's going to say, get me a helmet.
Playing that double post offense for New Berlin Eisenhower. Misevich finds himself out in the high post quite a bit. And he handles the ball quite a bit, too. Times it looked like he thought he was a guard. Got a foul called underneath. St. Francis on the rebound.
That's what got him in trouble, Jim, thinking he was a guard, though, handling the ball and trying to go in all the way a couple times.
Scott McGrury called for that personal foul. That is his 3rd personal. Some new faces coming in the lineup now for New Berlin Eisenhower. Joz Wachowski leaves. Saw the replay of that last series. Jeff Brazkala, the man Luigi told you was earmarked for the starting point guard position. This is Paul Sorensen at 6'6", a junior.
Jeff broke his arm before the season started. Looks like his, let's see, I'm looking at his arm. That kind of way he holds his left, I think it was his left arm.
St. Francis coming down. McGrury fakes past. Kujawski goes in and scores.
Yeah,
Nice
he used
play
the glass nicely. That's for example for young people, Jim. If you're driving that basket straight up, unless you're a big tall guy and go right over the rim, you know, good jumping ability. The best thing to do on a hard drive is put that ball off the glass, and Scott did that well on that drive.
Traveling violation called on the new man, Jeff Brazkala for New Berlin. Ball slapped out of bounds by Jeff Johnson. Johnson goes tumbling out of bounds after it. Rick Lockwood. This is Kloppenberg. Scott McGrury. McGrury getting a little warm here in the late stages of the game. 4:35 left in it, 54-38 the score. St. Francis trailing it by 16. Now the pressure in the backcourt is broken. Krieger comes across the timeline, lobs a feed to Kujawski. He goes back up against Jost, and Jost will be called for the foul.
That's been that kind of game. Bob Kujawski, does he have a field goal in this game, Jim?
No, he has nothing. He has no points in this ball game
Leading
tonight.
scorer here for New Berlin Eisenhower. There's Jost right on the arm there. Cracked the wrist there. And Bob came in with over a 13-point average, about 9th in the entire Parkland conference.
Well, he'll get a chance at some points now, Bob Kujawski. In the top 10 in the Parkland Conference scoring derby.
And of course, he's good in the fast game, Jim. He gets down to those corners and they look him and hit him on the fast break. And really, Eisenhower hasn't had much of a chance to run the fast break, particularly in the first half. He's had some foul trouble, though. I think they're going to his zone in the middle of the third quarter and having a chance to run that fast break has let Eisenhower pull away tonight.
There it is. Kujawski on the scoreboard. 55-38 by 17 points. New Berlin Eisenhower. This is McGrury. He'll take the shot himself.
Bingo.
And he puts it in off the glass.
That's a horse shot. You got to match that now.
16 points for Scott McGrury. As Brazkala loses control momentarily. This is Krieger out on the far right corner. Johnson slows things up. Wide open for a moment was Paul Sorensen. He was clapping his hands and snapping his fingers, doing everything he could to get noticed except blowing a duck call.
I think St. Francis is going to get a couple smaller people and quick people. They're going to have to press all over the court.
Bob Kujawski.
There we go. There's his basket, showing the nice form that he obviously has.
3 points quickly. Now John Kloppenberg brings it down for St. Francis. Jump shot by Pat Jost won't go, and Jeff Johnson there for the rebound. 3:30 left to play in the ball game.
Well, Jost thought it was good. He was running to the other side already, but you got to follow up your shot.
Jeff Brazkala testing out that arm that was broken earlier this season.
And you never presume your ball is going into the basket. Many times a shooter can get that second effort by following the ball to the basket, because many times the ball does come straight back.
Johnson slowing things down.
Here's your double post
Krieger.
that we were looking for.
Ross Krieger. McGrury wants to tip it away, and he'll be called for the foul. Scott McGrury, number 4. And now here comes number 4, John Quirk, back into the lineup for St. Francis. And Lenny Wall comes in for his first stint tonight, 5'10" junior.
He's going to get the foul. McGurry ripped it away. I don't think he got the foul there, but when the ball got away, Krieger turned sideways and then McGurry hit him.
Kloppenberg and Lockwood take a seat for St. Francis. We probably will not see them anymore in tonight's ball game.
They're going a couple quicker guards, obviously put some pressure on. Mentioned Lenny Wall, a junior. We're not going to see Greg Olson tonight, number 12. Greg with some crutches here in the St. Francis bench. He has a knee injury that he suffered in practice yesterday.
Ross Krieger hits 20 points with that free throw.
He's been Mr. Steady, done a nice job underneath all night for Eisenhower. He's the only man who's really taking advantage of that height differential inside.
Ross hits 2 out of 2, and now another substitute comes in for New Berlin Eisenhower. This will be Dave Moorman, a 5'9" senior. He replaces Bob Kujowski. Probably a more forgettable night individually for Bob, but the score is in the right team's favor as far as he's concerned.
And the name of the game is winning. I'm sure he'll take that for a victory.
McGurry to Jost. Jost coming down quickly. Rebound tapped loose and a foul called before they start on the other way. See who the foul is on now. It's going to be called against St. Francis, apparently.
Who are they calling? Randy Crone on the rebound?
Randy Crone.
Let's see it right here. Here's Jost on the drive. Randy's going to come. Well, the official underneath didn't call. The top official way out here. Well, I guess he had a better angle on it. And our officials said they would help each other tonight. Remember they talked to us? Said if one misses it, the other catches it.
They did on that play indeed. The top brass for St. Francis team a little bit upset about that call on that particular point, complaining about the fact that the out official made the call on the play.
Yes, you normally do that if you're a coach. Say, why didn't that guy right there call? Was he blind or what? I believe he was blinded from the ball. He was blocked. That sometimes happens. The near official does sometimes get blocked on his view.
See the score, 59-40. St. Francis trailing it by 19 points. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about some of the other games coming up on RVS Cablevision in the near future. Our next game, big Braveland Conference battle, a battle of Brookfield, Luigi.
Yes, indeed. That's always a fun one. Laverne Loopsdorp from Brookfield East against Bill Graff, Brookfield Central. Of course, Central on top with Sussex, Hamilton, and Braveland. They were picked for the top, both 9-1, and you know that's a natural rival. You kind of throw out the records there, and you know East Spartan team is always be well prepared by Laverne Loopsdorp. Randy
Crone fouled out as a result of that last call with 2:56 left to play in this basketball game. Brookfield East, Brookfield Central. We mentioned a couple of weeks ago that Central is ranked in the top 10 in the state of Wisconsin, according to both the coaches and the writers.
You want to tell us who number 1 is, Jim?
Let's see. Wisconsin Rapids is number 1.
You mean Marquette is a number 1?
No, they're down to number 3, Luigi. I hate to tell you.
Why? They lose a game or something?
No, they haven't lost anything.
What's wrong with those sports writers up north?
Ross Krieger, 2 for 2 from the line again. Krieger showing good form at the free throw line. He's got, let's see, he's got 10 free throws tonight.
Well, they got quite a few RVS teams in there. Brookfield Central, of course, Sussex Hamilton will be seen later on, Jim, against Port Washington. And also we got Waukesha North in there. Waukesha North ranked 5th, Sussex Hamilton 8th, Brookfield Central 10th. And you mentioned Milwaukee Marquette, who we had on RVS, is number 3. Is Pius in here?
No.
Just looking for Pius somewhere.
Are you trying to rub it in? Or what? We saw the Marquette Pius game. That was tough enough. St. Francis.
All right, James.
This is Lenny Wall. John Quirk with the jump shot. It comes short. Ross Krieger digging for the rebound. He's got it double teamed and fouled. They'll call the foul on Bob Hernkar. Hernkar picks up his second personal foul with 2:28 left to play in the basketball game. And coming in now for New Berlin Eisenhower is John Brezovar, a 5'8" junior. Oh, now he's coming back out. Is he coming in or coming out?
Coming in.
Well, for St. Francis anyway, number 22 is entering the lineup, Rob Ziemer. And number 10, John Marlega, as Terry Benka begins to empty his bench. He'll replace John Quirk as you look at Ross Krieger on the free throw line.
Well, Jim, I know to take a damping note here, but I think it should be mentioned. I think all 13 players